Okay, we have a coursework to hand in a group of 5. This is a case study. It reads like this: international sourcing has been threatened and is dipping businesses and organizations into immense losses due to outbreak of coronavirus, with origins currently traced from China. From aviation through to garment supply, food, drinks, Kenya Airways has announced over USD 10 million shillings, while firms like Google, Apple have already announced a fall below targeted profits as per BBC in March 2020. The outbreak of coronavirus has challenged and continues to challenge status quo and of the most powerful supply chains. Existing studies of SIPS 2016 reveals that while supply chain disasters will always exist, approaches to reduce the impact of such disasters are important to develop by an organization. What's coronavirus? Coronavirus is a family of viruses that causes diseases in animals, including have made jump to human, but most cause cold-like symptoms. The virus, usually called COVID-19, is also dangerous. So far, around 20% of confirmed cases have been classed as severe or critical. This has affected the global supply chain. So in a group of 5, we are required to develop a contingency approach that can be adopted by organizations to reduce exposure of coronavirus. So we are a group of 5. My name is Lawrence. We have Agatha, we have Amina, we have Dorothy, and we have Albert. So we are going to explain into detail the 3 major dimensions due to this COVID-19. The first dimension is the people's safety, which has been greatly affected by this coronavirus. The second is action for supply chain, that has also been hampered by the COVID-19. And the third one is action for operation management. So my team members are going to explain these 3 dimensions into details. Thank you.
In reference to the case study, organizations can adopt the following approaches to reduce exposure to coronavirus. The first approach, appropriate communication channels should be put in place to reduce exposure. For example, organizations can adopt the use of video conferencing, Skyping, Zoom to carry out business meetings and run their other day-to-day activities. Protective gears such as hand sanitizers and face masks can also be provided to reduce exposure to the virus. Mandatory screening of individuals should also be encouraged so as to establish those that are already infected with the virus. Secondly, since most buyers and suppliers do a lot of traveling to carry out business, they can buy insurance covers, for example, business interruption covers, to minimize the financial losses as a result of disruption to their operations. These disruptions can be in form of flight bans and changes in regulations, among others. My colleague Amina will add on more points.
Should also have buffer stock. By buffer stock, I mean that there should be supply of inputs held as reserve in case of future demand or supply fluctuations. For example, if organization X has been procuring maybe 20 reams of paper monthly, and because of the future uncertainties, they can procure maybe 40 reams. So in case of this coronavirus, it just happened when everybody wasn't ready. So the organization will be ready, will have reams in stock to use even in the future 2 months that will be coming. And then also, we should develop our local suppliers. The reason we should develop our local suppliers is because we need quality. It could be expensive to develop them, but in the long run, you will save costs by, instead of importing, you'll be able to get quality from these local suppliers. also doing, you also be working with the people around you. My colleague Dorothy will also add on a few points.
We have diversification. The attempt to reduce risk by investing in more than one nation. If you have been buying items from one country like China, you can also have other suppliers of the same product from countries like Germany, UK, to support what you have been procuring. In this case of coronavirus, if you have been procuring company items from only China, it means the company will be at standstill because you will have no items to use. There is e-procurement. This is the purchase and sale of supplies, equipment, works and services through a web interface or other network systems. We have an example of electronic resource procurement method. This reduces the physical contact between suppliers, which help control the spread of the epidemic. My colleague Albert will add on.
Thank you so much, my brother and sisters, for your good work. In addition to what my sisters have talked about as contingency plans, import substitution through promotion of Buy Uganda, Build Uganda can be one of the measures of reducing the contact and effects of coronavirus. Through Buying Uganda, the government of Uganda is encouraged to support local industries, such that whatever is produced outside in foreign countries is as well produced in Uganda. This will reduce the desire and movement of foreign travels, especially to first countries where coronavirus is highly hit, like China, like Italy, among other countries. And when people are within the country, it is very easy. Now, like Uganda, that we are not yet infected so much like China, it is very easy to control the virus, because the person who comes from China can easily be put into isolation, and in that way, the local industries will develop, and when local industries have developed, then we are in position to rely on our own. Import substitution will require to do research and establish the most infested countries. This will make us to know exactly what were we getting from, let's say, China. If we are importing from China clothing, food crops, food, textile, then government can, based on the research, to invest in such kind of organization. Then we can also, the government should also promote supplier development. In promoting supplier development, the government, because of import substitution, there will be demand, because much of the demand has been supplied by foreign markets. And now when we substitute from foreign market and we go Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, it means there will be overwhelming demand. This calls in for government to develop suppliers by providing them with essential capital, soft loans, and also giving them incentives like tax holidays and tax waivers, such that production cost is low and the products are greatly manufactured and sold at a lesser price. The other point that can reduce contact with coronavirus or its effects is working from home or off-site working. Working from home is whereby the organizations adopt a program or an arrangement where the employees do what they are supposed to do from home. For example, the organization can reduce the number of workers to a certain percentage, and this is based on the essentialness of a worker. For instance, in an organization, the chief executive can remain, the secretary staff in finance can remain, and maybe human resource, to ensure that the work is not terrorized at all. Working from home reduces the number of people at workstation, and once the number of people at workstation reduces, the contact between people and the possibility of transmission is also reduced, and therefore the effects of coronavirus also can subsidize. Institutions or organizations like banks can introduce automation. Automation, like for instance, banks can create more branches of ATMs, of course, copying from the countries so far which have experienced coronavirus like China. They can learn lessons from China and introduce measures of controlling the spread, like sanitization, like we normally read, see on news TV in China. There is a lot of sanitization, and they are advocacy sanitize. So if automation is done, and there are measures to control the spread, Uganda, or we can mitigate the spread of coronavirus. Then the banks or organizations can open branches in different parts of the country. This reduces congestion. For instance, Centenary Bank is known to have a lot of many clients, and to the extent that even on ATM you have to struggle to access your cash. But when many branches are opened and it helps sparsing the population, and this reduces people to people contact. Again, the banks can, not only the banks, but to use an example of a bank, they can use agent banking. Through agent banking, this is the cheapest and the easiest way of increasing the number of branches without a lot of cost. So in doing that, that one can sparse the population that will be congested at the main station. We can also achieve the objective of station working by ensuring that workers work in shifts. Everybody is working, but you work in shifts. This can be achieved by, let's say, some workers can come, let's say, in the morning from 8 up to 11. Others come from 11 to 2. Others come from 2 to 5. Like in the hospital works 24/7. So in that way, if people can be made to work in shifts, that means there will be lesser population at the station, and in that case, even if there is one who is infected, the control becomes very easy. And it becomes very easy in the sense that it is very easy to trace and know who possibly could have contacted coronavirus depending on the movements of these people. And besides that, organizations can introduce some improvements in work methods. For instance, registering every person, every client that comes to the business. If, let's say, a client has come from China and is registered as having used a service at Entebbe Airport, is registered as using a service at maybe, let's say, Hotel Sheraton, in case there is any infection of any Ugandan, it is very easy to trace the contact and the contacts of that very person if there is documentation. When all these that I've explained and all that my colleagues have explained are put into place, we can be in a position to mitigate. And now, like Uganda, where coronavirus is not yet actually in or reported, we would be much in a position to control it, even not to enter the country, if we observed all these contingency measures. And as will be always advised by Ministry of Health and international organizations, like we have always seen, international community advising on the recent epidemic that has hit China. I want to thank you so much, members, for your able contribution, and I wish you all the best in this. Thank you.